Okay, welcome back. You're continuing to listen to the weekend edition of the Korelin Economics Report. We're going to go a little bit astray here, not very much, but just a little bit. You know, our forum basically is one where we discuss economic issues and certainly political issues. And one of my favorite political issues, and some of you guys might think this is a bit of a stretch, but I think education has an awful lot to do with politics. And we have a gentleman on the line with us right now, David Rodriguez. Dave introduced himself to Corey and I at the San Francisco Hard Asset Conference, Mining and Minerals Conference, a couple, 3 weeks ago, and we were both very, very impressed with what he had to say. As was Kathy. You know, Kathy's a retired educator, and she was very, very intrigued with what Dave is saying. Dave has an event that is going to be held in Cupertino on March 15th. It's called the Education Options Expo. That really turns my crank, and I'll tell you why. I think we have some elements, some portions, for example, of public education in the United States that are really, really lacking. Dave was telling Corey and I earlier that there really isn't much of a difference between public schools and charter schools because they both receive funding from the government. The real difference occurs in private schools and other schools that would fall into that category. Dave, can you elaborate a little bit for us?
Absolutely. So one of the things to really take note of is that in the education system, there was a lot of money, and this is going to administrators, principals, teachers. I have family in the education business publicly, so I'm not going against those individuals, but the system is designed to really not empower critical thinking. And one of the key inspirations for my mission here is a gentleman by the name of John Taylor Gatto. He was the New York State Teacher of the Year, 1990, and three-time New York City Teacher of the Year. And he wrote a book called The Underground History of American Education, which really dives into and reveals some really alarming things, including the origins. And the origins come from the Prussian system in the late 1800s, dealing with the military. And the problem is that Napoleon, actually, his army was smaller than the Prussian army, but his army defeated the Prussians. And they found out is that when the Prussian army was ordered to shoot, they were hesitant. So there's that kind of conflict there, shooting another person, and, taking life. It's not really natural to us. We have to be trained. So in the early 1900s, some of the big industrialists funded public education, and this later came out in the Reese Committee, I think it was in the 50s there. So there's a really political leaning of education. And again, it's not the individual teachers and principals, administrators, but it's the origins. And so when the public education system first came about, there was a lot of skepticism. And it first started out with just 3 months a year, and later on they kind of extended the terms. And so now here we are, 2013 on the fringe of 2014, and nearly everyone that I speak with, and maybe yourself and the audience there, agrees that the education system is in shambles. And the parents, are kind of confused on what to do. And so what I decided to do was to create a forum, an expo, where parents can come and learn about the different options out there. And so as Al was speaking, the similarities between charter schools and public schools is pretty significant. The charter schools do have some little bit of freedom, but it comes down to the passion visionary leader. So if that leader leaves after 5 or 6 years, then the direction of the school also falls apart. And so the main thing is that I believe children should be empowered to utilize the innate ability inside their mind, which they're born with. And one of the things that I really get inspired with, Al, is the imagination and curiosity of a 4 or 5-year-old. I have a young niece. She's 6 years old, and one of my youngest nephews is almost 3. And when you play imaginary games with him, when you say, let's pretend, let's do this, they actually get into the moment. And that is such an important aspect of our humanity, because that is really one of the key differences between us and any other, living creature, is our ability to create our future, our ability to plan and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do next week, or next year, or next 10 or 20 years. And so at this expo, parents are able to learn from a variety of educational options, mainly private schools, homeschooling, unschooling, even home learning resource centers. And the main tenet is that at these schools, they can customize the curriculum for the individual, and depending on which, system and organization you partner up with, you have freedom to pursue what they're interested in. So rather than compelling them to study, 7 different subjects a day, if they want to study, art all day, or they want to, take apart a radio or something, then they're able to do that. And so that's where this expo is directed towards, to empowering parents to come to this forum. We have enough space for 14 to 18 vendors, and they'll be able to come there in one location, one afternoon, and learn about homeschooling and private schooling, these different options available, and have some meaningful dialogue. And the keynote speaker is a gentleman by the name of Mr. Jerry Mintz. He's the founder of the Alternative Education Resource Organization in New York. He's been in this area of education for over 30 years, and he's helped start over 50 schools. And so this is really exciting because he is one of my kind of mentors in this realm, and I intend on having this be an annual event because the demand is there. And when any venture is initiated, you want to make sure there's people who have interest. And literally everyone I talk to agrees that there needs to be some type of option in education. And just due to the funding conflicts, I don't believe the change is going to come from in the system. It's going to come from outside the system. And so, we're really excited about this type of event, and we're able to direct folks to the website to get more information. And the URL is www.educationoptionsexpo.com. And there you can see the venue, some of the promotional videos, my contact information as well. And this is a little bit about the event there.
Dave, the education system is one thing that has been in our history for a long time, and I think is very, very important to continuing to lead us to be a productive society. We need our young people to continue to learn, and as you mentioned, they need to be interested about what they're learning about. It's one thing that I really found that I liked about college is I finally started to choose some of the classes that I got to take, and I think that this education seminar that you are putting on, this conference, is a great way to update people and let them know what's available out there. Because as you said, there are a lot of different options, and you're not actually saying that we need to change our current system. You just want parents to go to one location and be able to talk to a bunch of different people to really find out where else they can go to get the education they want for their children, correct?
Exactly correct, yes.
Well, I got to tell you guys, it makes all the sense in the world to me. The future of our country definitely lies in clear thinking folks who are now children, and they're going to mature into adults. I mean, the future of our country lies in their hands, and I think that all responsible parents certainly need to be aware of the alternatives out there. I mean, it's not just reading, writing, arithmetic like it was when I was a kid growing up. I mean, and that's the main reason. There are so many other factors you have to consider, and that's the main reason that Kathy and I sent our girls to private schools. I mean, it was not something at the time that we could afford, but we bit the bullet, so to speak, and went ahead and did it. And I have to tell you, that was without a doubt the best investment that Big Al has ever made. And I am not diminishing the hard efforts of a lot of the educators out there, but I'm saying, boy, there's a lot of things that really, really need to be fixed. Check out Dave's show. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's show.